Oh, that was such a stupid move. I've literally sat down straight on top of the stinging nettle. Ow. Ow. This is really stinging me now. It's completely putting me off. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Chilli side-by-side comparison video. Today there's lots to update you on because it is nearing the end of our first official run through, our first official yield of our chili experiment. We are collecting all of the chilies that are coming off the 3 different plants, and we're finally getting a chance to see the results of these 3 different treatments, 3 different fertilizers over the long term. Now, today we're going to be looking at how the plants are doing, how the soil is doing, talk about a few different nuances in terms of how they're responding to certain conditions that have been going on. And then we're going to be looking obviously at the yield and how much is coming off the plant, but what we're then doing moving forward into the future, how we would prep it through the winter and get it ready for another full-on season next time, and how we're going to build this soil long term to try and keep this going as long as we possibly can. Now, my leg is stinging so much from this nettle, so we need to get into the video. Let's do it. Gosh, that was not a good idea. Still stinging. Now, I know it doesn't look like much with the pots that you see behind me, but these chilies, as I say, are nearing the end of the season. That means that they're getting to the point where life is getting a little bit difficult. They've used all of their energy producing all of this beautiful green mass to then produce our chilies, our fruits. They're putting all of their energy into the seeds, the reproduction. As it starts to rain here, it's going to be really nice because you're going to see the glistening leaves and how they sort of perk up after the rain. But we're going to talk about the differences first, as these 3 pots have been sitting here in this exact location for the last couple of months since that last update. Now, you can see this little post here that I've put in. That is from the umbrella. You may have seen that on the last video. There's an umbrella that's been covering these chilies in the really, really hot center of the day because they are still in black pots, and that's losing a lot of moisture. That's probably been the number 1 issue for this chili side-by-side, is that fact that they're in black pots and the water is just evaporating out of the soil so quickly. Another thing we're seeing in these black pots is it's generally sinking down, so we're losing some of the soil volume in here, and the canopy size is so much bigger for all of these plants, especially that big one there, than the container itself. So we're rapidly running out of root space on all 3 of these plants, and it is showing. So let's go around the grounds. This one, first and foremost, is our NPK fertilizer. And what's really interesting about this one is that it's literally in the last 2 or 3 days, has been shooting out new growth. It's dark green. It kind of looks healthy, but it's been shooting out new growth and re-vegging, we call it, back into the vegetative state. Now, literally not that long ago, 4 days, maybe 5 days ago, it looked just like this. We had yellowing leaves absolutely everywhere. The whole plant was like this, and we've got, failed chilies that are just falling off. We've got, here's one, just rescued one. Here's a dry one that's completely dried off. You can see even though it has, been producing chilies, it's still just not looking all of that healthy. It's got all of these curled leaves in it. There's some of the old stuff, some of this new stuff, and there are chilies on it. There are plenty of chilies. They're just, quite small and quite pathetic looking, unfortunately. There are a few good ones, but we'll see when it comes to the total yield. One of the main reasons why I believe that it started to green up and re-veg is because of that cycles. If we understand the cycles in the plant, it's been through its fruiting cycle. It's put all of its effort into its seeds, and it's not producing any more flowers. We had a big boost of rain, and it's raining now. We had a big boost of rain in the last week or 2, and it's then come with some last minute warm temperatures for Well, it's now autumn and we're still getting warm temperatures. So the rain that comes through, it's going through this water-soluble NPK fertilizer and it's making the nitrogen available again, which is what it's doing. It's wanting that nitrogen and it's pushing out new growth. You can see that when we get water-soluble nutrients, and we can see that when it starts to push out again after it had kind of already senesced and finished its life. What it did used to look like is actually very similar to what our number one blend is starting to look like now. You can see all of these leaves have sort of faded. It's taking away all of the energy from the leaves and it's putting it into growing these chilies here. There is slightly more yield on this one just by looking at it, and the chili quality is slightly better. Look, we're getting just plenty more of them and they look nice and shiny and the right shape and they're kind of full and everything. So another example is on the final one. This is the completely living soil treated version that we're trying to bring back to life. We can see that it's starting to senesce as well. You're seeing all of the color go out of the leaves. There is a few last minute flowers, so we're still getting some flowering. This plant is loaded with chilies, just absolutely loaded everywhere. There's so many of them and they're just dangling off this whole plant. So we got plenty of chilies to be counting up. So I want to stress to you, we're seeing very different results across the 3 treatments of fertilizer. The NPK fertilizer, like I said, water soluble. So we're having the rain that's coming wash it through. So nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, NPK, we're getting those washed through. Yes, potassium is really good for our fruits. It's good for our fruit size, so it's going to govern how big those chilies are and how big the seeds are. But it's ready for nitrogen. It's ready for that big N hit. So the rain is coming through, it's washing it through, it's thinking, oh my goodness, I've got all this nitrogen again, I can start pushing out fresh growth with these warm temperatures that have been coming in. It doesn't realize that the chilies are all finished, there's no more flowers, so it's just thinking, time to grow again. The difference then in the other 2, the living soil treated one that we're trying to bring back, the mother plant, and the number one blend behind me, they are still in a different stage of their plant cycle. So they are still in that fruiting and flowering stage, which means nitrogen is not needed. And we're not giving them water-soluble nitrogen in as a fertilizer. We're giving them long-term breaking down nitrogen where the microbes in the soil need to go and get that. So we're not having any of that access to that free nitrogen to boost that vegetative growth again. It's still mining that phosphorus and potassium from all of the amendments and the good things that we're putting in, and it's making that plant available to keep producing bigger and hopefully more nutritional chilies for us to eat and harvest. So a few nuances there, but the take-home messages for this is that number one, we need to focus on canopy size, because the size of the canopy itself is much too big for the pots underneath them. The roots are really struggling, and I need to show you how those roots are packed out and how we're losing the ability to have some soil structure in there being built up over time. We don't have that ability because there's no space. It's all roots, and all of that water is falling straight out the bottom. I'm gonna have to stop because it's just started raining. I need to protect my camera gear, so give me a second. Ooh. Okay, just while I hide in here out of the rain for a second, I want to tell you about something really exciting that I've just launched. On my Facebook, I've just created a group called Jordan's Soil Society. You can also find that on Instagram, the Instagram handle. But all of the action is happening inside this Facebook group. What I'm going to be doing is providing access to me to ask questions through live streams, through exclusive small group Zoom hangs, where we can just go through all of the details of everyone's garden and learn from each other. But ultimately, this is a community where you can support me in what I'm doing to continue to make videos like this for you. But also you can be a part of it. You can make suggestions. You can share your questions, share what you're growing, and ultimately become a better grower, understanding your soil much more deeply. So if this is something that interests you and it excites you, I would be more than happy to have you part of the society. Come and join the community and build it from the ground up with me. We're going to be creating so much positivity, so much knowledge, and all-round community connection. So if that's something that you're interested in, hit the link in the top of the description below and you can find the group today. All right, it has just slowed down a little bit in the rain, so I'll be able to show you the soil, because the soil is what tells the story. The plants above are showing the symptoms of what's happening in the soil below. So it's important to understand and have a look at the soil to see what we can work out from what it looks like and the texture and how it's behaving. You can see how it's really starting to green up these leaves, especially in the rain when it comes in, because remember, rain brings nitrogen as well. But let's have a look underneath. We can see this particular one here. This is the NPK fertilizer. It's quite dry. Look, still dry in the soil because all of these roots are pulling that moisture up quickly. I'm just pulling a handful out so you can see, but the soil is falling through. It's dusty. Most of this is taken up with roots and it's just not holding any water at all. That's why our water-soluble nutrients are just washing straight into the roots and they're being uptaken immediately by the plant. But there's probably also a hell of a lot being leached straight out the bottom of the pot. Coming over to the number one blend, if I can bring you down in here, we'll move some of this apart too. Again, same story. Look at this. Bundles of roots pushed up against the edge. I can even pull it up from underneath. Oh, look. This, again, slightly better aggregates in the soil, so we're actually building better structure. There's not huge pieces in here. So there's better structure. It's all crumbs, but again, so many roots all through this whole system, which means it's pulling all of the moisture out before it's even had a chance. Obviously, the black plastic pots aren't helping, and the sugarcane mulch can be a bit hydrophobic on top, but we haven't got a huge layer, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. And finally, if we look over here into the final container, this one will probably be one of the worst because this one has the largest canopy space. Now, same deal. We're pulling this up again. Look, roots and dry soil. Better aggregates again, so the better soil particles. We're not having huge bits of wood chips still, but there is no moisture being held in here as well. It's going straight out the bottom or straight into the roots. So unfortunately, these are too big for their container. So the soil is telling the story here. We can see that there's just literally not enough space in these pots. If I was growing chilies and I wanted to grow them properly myself, they'd be going in the garden bed next door, because you can allow these roots to spread out, search for resources that they need, get access to more moisture in the soil, especially clay soil that we have here, nice and deep. So they can access all of these and they're not restricted to very hot plastic pots, limited soil space, and of course, terrible potting mix that we initially started with. So quite a few different nuances in terms of how these plants are growing. And just because one or the other looks different, it may not tell the story of how good the produce is coming off the plant. So we're about to find that out. The next step is to go along and harvest these chilies. We're going to take them inside and weigh them again so we can update you on the current totals, the running totals of all of the chilies that have come off these plants so far. And then we're going to talk about how we're going to send them off, how we're going to test these to figure out whether or not there is actually more nutrients or more heavy metals being absorbed into any of these. So then it gives you an idea of what the quality of produce that's coming out of it, the different treatments in the fertilizer and the soil. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm so excited. So here are the ones that we took off the basic NPK. You can see not hugely massive, little bits of curly tails. You know, there's a couple that were kind of already past it that were on their way out to drying, but sort of, you know, that's probably the best quality one. You know, roughly the size of my finger there. So not too bad, and like not too bad of a haul, but let's see in comparison to the other two now. So this is the number one blend. We can see again, some were heading towards the end of their life where they're starting to dry out, but there was quite a few more here on the number one blend, looking really good. You know, that's just average, the same size of my finger. There's quite a few in that sort of category, and they're all looking really beautiful and healthy, these chilies. So obviously a little bit more yield from that one. There's still some on the plant because remember, as we spoke about, it's still in its flowering and fruiting stage. So we're going to leave a couple more on there just for the time being, just to really see when it's completely finished. And there we go. There is the last one from the mother plant, which we're still seeing, again, a lot more flowers and chilies still on the plant. So this is going to be another total. Similar sort of sizes, again, to all of these other ones. There's nothing hugely different about the sizing between the three of them, but the yield is certainly nice and big on this one as well. You can see there's still a few more left on the plant, so we're going to leave these just to really let it go out and fully finish its cycle. So there's quite a few still on both plants going on here. So we're going to finish its cycle. We're going to include these in our totals for the yield for the season, and then we'll have a much better idea as to which plant performed best over the season. Now that we've seen the running totals and the yields that have come off these plants, we're going to be talking about what to do next. How do we best take these chili plants forward over the winter and allow them to grow again next season? Now in Brisbane here, we are very lucky because it is always warm here in Brisbane. I'm currently really warm, even though it was raining, and we're supposedly in autumn. So it's always warm in here in Brisbane, which means we can grow chilies even through the winter. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to be taking back the majority of these plants, all of the foliage back to as minimal stalk as we can get away with. You may remember we did this initially with the mother plant. We left just one stalk, no leaves whatsoever, and it completely grew back into what you see today. And when we do that, something amazing happens to the plant itself. It notices that it's had a bit of a haircut, and what it does is reciprocates underneath the soil in the root zone. So it'll self-prune its root system all the way back to pretty much zero. So if you think about a lawn, the amount of lawn that's growing up above the soil, how many centimeters, is how many centimeters of root growth there is down below. So we always want to imagine that as above, so below. So we understand the concept of space and availability of nutrients, moisture, and air for those root systems in whatever container they may be in. So, for example, we're going to come back, chop a lot of this right back to the start using our beautiful secateurs here. We're going to cut them right back to the start, and then we're going to leave them in exactly what it is. We don't want to trigger more growth with fertilizer. We don't want to change the conditions. We want to just leave them be so they can go to sleep for the best part of the winter season. Then when they're ready, they are going to start boosting up and showing us that they're ready, and that's when we can start to fill up the containers a little bit with more soil, more compost for certain particular one over there, more number one blend, more NPK fertilizer, and ultimately get the season off and running for round 2. Now that we've got our chilies off the plant, a big reason that I wanted to do this whole experiment was to show you that treating the soil properly, using good quality organic fertilizers, it means that it's actually going to produce more nutrient-dense chilies at the end of the day. Not only are we going to get more of them, but it's actually going to provide us better nutrient quality to our bodies, which is super important in today's day and age. So much of our produce is just lacking the right amount of nutrients because it's grown in artificial soil or soil that's lacking or soil with chemicals. And a big thing that happens with soil with chemicals is that we end up uptaking heavy metals. We have this contamination that ends up in our food. And I want to prove to you that doing it organically, although you may not completely rid it of heavy metals, but you're going to significantly reduce the amount of exposure that you're then exposed to through your produce. Now, this is one small experiment, and honestly, I have no idea how it's going to go. I'm hoping to show you over time that growing organic is going to be the way to go. But we're just doing this experiment because I want to find out, quite honestly, and I don't know for myself, so how do we do it? We test it. So I'm going to be selecting one chili, a good decent chili from each of these harvests that we've just done, and I'm going to try and test them. I'm going to test them for a few different things. For Brix levels, which is the sugar content in it, generally a signal of good plant health. We're also going to be sending off for heavy metal analysis, and then a complete nutrient profile, if I can have access to that as well. It's going to be tricky because there aren't a huge amount of places that do that for super cheap, but I'm going to do my best to try and have a result for you by the next video so that when we get to that point, you'll be able to see the results and you'll be able to understand for yourself whether growing organic is actually better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that then concludes today's video. I want to very much thank you for being a part of this series so far. And if you've been watching from the start, it's so good to have you along for the ride, experiencing this all with me as well. But remember, join the Soil Society. That link is in the top of the description below. Otherwise, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these plants. If there's anything that I missed or you think that there's something that you can see that I can't, please let me know. We're all in this to learn together. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you. See you on the next video. Take care, and bye for now.